Winds are blowing fast, and a thunderstorm is striking, and there a girl who is wearing a wedding red jada is walking down on the street in her own dilemma, looking like the whole world is mocking her presence, but she doesn't care. She is walking like a dead body without a soul. Her big almond-shaped eyes are swollen red with tears. Her round, small face is pale and emotionless, but still she is looking so innocent and beautiful. But her eyes are showing the pain of losing everything. Her dupatta is trailing on the ground messily. But she doesn't care about it. People who are walking and going to their own prospective works are looking at her like she is a stupid person or something, as she is roaming around the street without having an umbrella cause of heavy rain and thunderstorms. People are running to their prospective works or places while holding umbrellas. Horn sounds are echoing the whole street as cars are going here and there. People are approaching their respective places. But that girl is walking like a dummy who doesn't have a place to stay. She is fully drenched in rain. Her blouse and lehenga are stuck to her body, showing her perfectly curvy body. After walking so long, she got near a bridge, and then she climbed the left side of the bridge railing and looked down in the water and took a deep breath and tried to jump, but suddenly someone held her wrist tightly from behind and pulled her towards him and hugged her tightly while saying, "Are you mad, Wyan? How could you even think of suicide, hun? You don't even think of me, hun? Do you forget about me, hun? Is I that much unimportant to you, hun?" Saying that, he looks at her, but she doesn't say a word, just look at him blankly. So he again said, "Why aren't you saying something? What happened? Why are you trying to kill yourself? Are you out of your mind? What is wrong with you?" But she still doesn't say anything to him, just looks at him, and suddenly Wyan hugs him while crying her heart out, saying, "Kook, my marriage. They broke it. They left me and my dad." She said it in a sturt voice while her hiccups are not letting her speak properly. She is trembling badly. She again said, "My dad think that I slept with you before my marriage with my fiancé, and my own dad kicked me out from my house. They hate me, Kook. They left me, Kook, they left me. My own father doesn't believe me," saying that she fainted on his shoulder. Seeing her unconscious, he tapped on her face many times, but she didn't wake up, so he lifted her up in bridal style and opened the gate of his car and put her in the back seat of the car, and he went in the driver's seat and drove off. Black Mansion. There is Black Mansion. The Black Mansion, which is out of the city. The mansion looks so dangerous yet luxurious, not just from the outside but inside too. The mansion, which looks so luxurious and beautiful, has some dark secrets which it doesn't see from outside. A car is stopped in front of the mansion, and the guards of the mansion open the gate, and a car drive into the parking lot, and a man that is no one else but JUNGKOOK comes out while securely holding Wyan in his arms, walks into the mansion and goes towards his room and put her down on his bed carefully, and a smirk came on his face while looking at her. After some time, after an hour, Wyan wakes up and her eyes are roaming here and there, and her eyes stop on JUNGKOOK, who is sitting on the sofa and sketching something on his canvas. She keeps looking at him, and suddenly JUNGKOOK said without looking at her, "You wake up, Wyan." Wyan just him in response. His phone rings suddenly, and he got up from the sofa and goes out while talking to someone. Wyan, who is now sitting on the bed, she got up and looked around. The room is so big and luxurious. Only 2 colors in his room, bloody red, color black. Curtains all are bloody red and walls are all painted with black color. A king-sized round bed which is in the middle of the room. Every piece of furniture in this room looks so futuristic yet gothic. On ceiling there are 2 pipes digging in the wall and 2 chains are hanging to them, and it looks so suspicious yet creepy to her while looking at it. Wyan thinks what it is, but she ignores it, and some flashes of tomorrow comes in her brain and her tears flowing down her cheeks while remembering it, and she collapses to a cabinet which is on her left side, and file drops out from the cabinet. Her eyes got stuck to it when she saw her name on it, and she took it. Confusedly, she opened it, see some paper in it which from her drawing classes, and some other papers also. When she see what write on it, her eyes becoming wide in shock, and she turned pages one by one, and in fear that file dropped from her hand, and she back off. Her body is trembling in fear and shock, and fear. She put both her hand on her mouth, and her tears are streaming down her face continuously. In another second, Jungkook came in while still talking to someone and said last words to that person which is on the other side of the phone. Do what I said, understand, saying that he cut the call and look in front of him. Wyan look at him and take her step back from him in fear. Her body is trembling of not understanding why is this happening to her. On other hand, Jungkook looks at her in confusion and said, "What happened, Wyan?" Wyan in stutter voice said, "Who are you? You are not my kook. My kook never do this to me. How can you do this to me?" Jungkook in confusion said, "What is wrong with you, Wyan? What are you talking about?" Wyan again said in her trembling stutter voice, You betrayed me, Jungkook. How could you do this to me? You betrayed me by signing my sign on the marriage paper that is also 4 months before my marriage without me knowing. You take my sign on a drawing course and also take my sign on marriage papers without me knowing. I trusted you, that's why I never read those drawing courses papers. I can't even think in my dreams that you could do this to me. And when we already got married, without me knowing, then why don't you tell this all to my dad? Why don't you tell my dad that? A day before marriage there is a cocktail party, where you also come as chief guest, cause you are also my friend and our designing course teacher. That day you know very well that I got drunk, and I slept in your room. That's all what actually happens. There's is nothing happened between us. I just slept there because I got drunk. Her voice is stuttering in between as she backs off from him while shaking her head. Her tears are non-stop flowing from her eyes. How is her fate? She got betrayed by his own dad, who thinks she slept with someone one day before his marriage, and now she got betrayed with his best friend, which is her husband now. And now she finds out that his husband is the one who drugged her that day. She is actually not drunk but drugged that day by him. And also she didn't know when she signed those papers 4 months ago. Wyan screamed, "Why? Why? Why? You do this to me? Tell me, Kook. I trusted you. Why? You broke my trust." Just why tell me? Why you do all this horrible thing to me? Tell me what you got by doing all this. She again screamed on his face. Jungkook's expression changed after listening her words, and he said, "Oh, so you find out everything. That's good. Because from now on I don't have to act good in front of you. From now on I can show you who I really am. And that's good that you know everything, 'cause I'm tired of acting good in front of you, Hwan." Saying that, he chuckled slightly and walked towards her, and he backed off while shaking her head in denial, saying, "You see, can't do this to me, Kook." Saying that, she looks towards him, who is looking at her without any emotions on her face, and comes towards her slowly. Hwan looked at him and warned him, saying, "Don't come near me, Kook. Go away," saying that she is moving back. Jungkook, in his husky, seductive voice, said, "Wifey, where are you going? It's our wedding night. Come to me, baby. Come." Hwan shook her head several times while moving back and said, "Please leave me, Kook. You can't do this to me." So all this good behavior is all to get my trust on you. Jungkook emotionlessly looking at her and said, "Do you forget what you did to me 1 year ago? You forget that?" Saying that, he comes towards and tightly holds her jaw in his muscular veiny hand. "And do you forget what you did to me on that day when I got rewarded for being an idol for new generation whoever likes drawing and painting stuff and being an amazing painter worldwide? You know I'm an international icon. Remember that day, baby?" Saying that, he looks into her while digging his nails on his skin deeper and deeper. Listening to his words, a flashback come in her eyes. Flashback. 1 year ago. Art University. A worldwide famous art university, Jungkook came as chief guest there and going to get awarded for his amazing painting skills all around the world. Students are whistling and hooting for him. Girls are just mesmerizing by his looks and his politeness. Girls are going crazy for him. They are going crazy by just looking at him. He is an internationally famous celebrity crush and an idol who is worldwide famous for his amazing painting skills and his charms, but no one knows that he is also a dangerous secret mafia. The head of principal of that university is giving him an award. Suddenly a girl comes running by pushing the crowd around him and comes towards him, and a hard slap sound echoes through the big hall. Everyone gets shocked seeing what happened, and suddenly that girl speaks after slapping Jungkook. "Girl, how dare you do to my best friend? You cheater. Bastard, I will sue you," she says while pointing a finger at him. Jungkook, who has become shocked for some time, looks at her, and for the first time he lost in her eyes, and doesn't even listening to her what she is just saying, but just looking at her, and then look at her from head to toe, more like scanning her. And suddenly another girl came and pulled that girl away from him by holding her wrist and said, "You are mistaken, Hwan. He is not that guy who betrayed our friend." Saying that, she bowed her head to him and said sorry on behalf of her friend, and then to everyone, and pulled her hand and went away from there. But Jungkook is still looking at where Hwan go with her friend, and a smirk came on his face. Flashback ended here. Present time. YN comes to her senses when she feels him tightens his grip around her waist and whimper left her mouth.
Cook, please leave me.
With his emotionless face, JUNGKOOK said. Baby, it's over wedding night, saying that he pushed her on the bed, but YN crawled back by saying, Kook, please don't do this to me, please. How can you do this to your friend? But JUNGKOOK ignores her and puts his one leg on the bed and grabs her leg and pulls her towards him and tore her wedding dress, which she is still wearing now. She is struggling to get away from him. She crying badly and begging him to leave, but don't listen to her and harshly pull all the jewelry which YN is wearing, and because of that she got many cuts on his neck. And he also broke her bangles which she is wearing. Some bangles are broke and they got dig into her skin, which gives pain to her. And then he removes her earrings harshly and threw all her jewelry on the floor. And then he hovers on her and sits on her stomach and loses his tie which he is wearing and ties her hands with it above her head with the headboard. YN is still struggling, trying to free herself, and she is crying continuously, but no one is listening to her because the room is soundproof and moreover it's his mansion. No one dares to interrupt him in whatever he is doing, and then he swiftly tore her lehenga, and then her inner wears and looks at her. His eyes are shining with lust and something more which YN didn't understand. YN pleaded with him again and again, but JUNGKOOK didn't listen to her and got up from her and removed all his clothes and hovered above her and started to look at her from head to toe again and again. YN tightly closed her eyes, feeling him looking at her. Her tears are not stopping. Her whole body is trembling in fear, and she turns her face around and doesn't want to look at him. But he turned her face harshly and said, Look at me, my baby. YN opened her teary eyes and looked at him, and he said, From now on I will call you my jailbird. It is a good name, right, baby? Saying that he attacked her lips and kissed her harshly. There is no love and lust in his kiss, but some other indescribable emotion in it. And then he started sucking and biting her lips, and this thing is going on. And then he comes on his neck and starts kissing, sucking, and biting there, and then comes down on her collarbone and then harshly suck and biting there. Painful whimpers left her mouth whenever he bites her. Her whole neck and her collarbone is filled with dark purple hickeys, and then he comes down towards her cleavage and kisses her there and bit it, and this goes on again and again. And then after kissing, sucking, and biting all over her, then he opens her legs wide and adjusts himself between her legs and said, Are you ready, my jailbird? YN with pleading teary eyes shook her head continuously in denial, but JUNGKOOK don't care about it, and in another second a painful scream echoes throughout the room, and she closes her eyes in pain, and a painful tear left her eyes, and he pushed himself more into her, thrust harder into her. YN's screaming sound are echoes in room again and again, and JUNGKOOK groaning and slapping sound are going on till midnight. When JUNGKOOK done with her, he get from the while looking at her tired, fearful face and her naked body, then he goes into shower, and after some time, he came out with a warm water in a small tub and a hot towel, and sat in front of her, and wiped her body and said, You are always be mine. And now I fully make you mine, but I don't cage you because you slapped me. But I have another plans for you, my jailbird, saying that he smirked dangerously by looking at her naked body and made her wear his shirt and lying beside her and hold her in his arms tightly and said, "There is no one can take you away from me, my jailbird. I'm so fucking much obsessed with you, my dear jailbird."